Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Putra Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunya Paschata Desatharine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vacharam Pamundam Vaiti Girinyat Padam Bhagavate Shri Guru Devantarine. Hare Krishna. So we continue reading chapter 3 and today we'll see verse number 16. So let's chant the shloka. Evam pravartitam chakram
एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं
nanuvartiya tihaya
नानुवर्तयति हयः
akhayur indriya ramo
अगायुरिन्द्रियारामो
mogam partha sajivati.
मोगं पार्थ स जीवति
Evam pravartitam chakram
एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं
nanuvartayati haya
नानुवर्तयति हयः
akhayur indriya ramo
अगायुरिन्द्रियारामो
mogam partha sajivati.
मोगं पार्थ स जीवति
Please chant.
एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः अगायुरिन्द्रियारामो मोगं पार्थ स जीवति
Mogam. Translation and purport. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by Vedas certainly leads a life full of sins, living only for satisfaction of senses. Such a person lives in vain. Purport. The Mamonist philosophy of work very hard and enjoy sense gratification is condemned herein by the Lord. Therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yajna is absolutely necessary. One who does not follow such regulations in living a very risky life, being condemned more and more by nature's law, this human form of life is especially meant for self realization in either of the three ways, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. There is no necessity of rigidly following the performance of prescribed yajnas for transcendentalists who are above vice and virtue, and those who are engaged in sense gratification require purification by above mentioned cycle of yajna process. There are different kinds of activities. Those who are not Krishna conscious are certainly engaged in sensory consciousness. Therefore, they need to execute pious works. The yajna system is planned in such a way that sensory conscious persons may satisfy their desire without being entangled in reactions of sense gratifying work. The prosperity of the world depends not on our own efforts but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord, directly carried out by demigods. Therefore, yajnas are directly aimed at particular demigods mentioned in the Vedas. Indirectly, it is the practice of Krishna consciousness because one masters the performance of yajna, one is sure to become Krishna conscious. But if by performing yajna one does not become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as only moral codes. One should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness. So, in the previous shlokas, Krishna explained Arjuna to work, and if you cannot give the attachments of the results, then at least you work for sacrifice. You work as a sacrifice. sacrifice for Vishnu. And he explained how it works. The cycle. The cycle is like from Vedas, the actions. The Vedas come from Supreme Lord. Then Vedas describe the actions. Then human being do the actions for the sacrifice, up to the food, rain, food. All this is the cycle, and it repeats. So Krishna is advising that you follow. Krishna advised Arjuna that you follow this process of sacrifice, so that you don't get entangled, or you get purified slowly. And here Krishna is telling the conclusive thing that if you don't follow this cycle, then what happens? It's very strong words. If you don't follow this, you are living life full of sins. Agha ayuhu, Indriya Ramo. Agha ayuhu is full of sins. Indriya Ramo, only sense gratification. So here, so that means we only live for ourselves, for following our thoughts, our desires, to satisfy our bodily needs, or our immediate bodily needs, or senses of our immediate ones. So this is a very, what we say, self-centered approach. When we cannot think of anybody else, and we just think of what I want, then only we live for sense gratification, how I can enjoy. And this life is life of sin. And Mogham Partha sa Jivati. Mogham means unnecessary, unnecessary, or in some illusion. So if such a person lives in vain, he lives unnecessary, he lives. So because there is, the reason is like, by only for working for sense gratification, you are not going to improve your consciousness. Instead, your consciousness will be becoming more and more downgraded, because we'll just think of ourselves and our needs and our desires and how to satisfy them. So the consciousness is not going to elevate. Elevate means, when we say elevate, elevate means to the spiritual side. It will not go. But if we follow this chakra, which is already means in the Vedas, last shloka was the sacrifice comes from Veda, and that's why the sacrifice have the transcendental um, presence of Lord, because Vedas are spoken by the Lord directly. So here it is said that this chakra is this cycle of sacrifice and doing the work and connecting with the Supreme is established in Vedas. So if you follow this process, whatever means rigidly, maybe sometimes not, but if you follow this process, then you are going to increase your consciousness. So even if you are attached to the results, but still you work as a sacrifice for Krishna or Vishnu, then you are going to improve your consciousness. How it will improve? That you will get less and less attached. Uh, and here Srila Prabhupada also mentioned about like world. This world is not independent. So there was a time, right, when the world was like in general, people used to think that we are completely dependent on nature. If air, water is there, then farmers can do their work, then the grains will come. Sometimes storm will come, sometimes typhoon will come, and that will demolish all the cities. So that was the past. And then the time came recently when we tried to overcome the nature. So if the rain is not coming, so the scientists, they try to add artificial rain. We will build the dams, we will build the canals to what for water. In the cold areas, we'll try to make everything hot. We provide the facilities. So here we try to counteract, or we try to be independent of the nature. But now we understand that our actions also impact nature, and that which in turn affects us. So for example, the pollution created in the rivers or in the sea or in the air, it pollutes the atmosphere. And what happens when the atmosphere is polluted? It ultimately affects us only in the global warming and all these things. So now we understand that this nature or universal management and our life, nobody is independent. We are interdependent on each other, because our actions impact nature and nature's action impact us. So we have to work together because of this interdependency. So now the humanity in large is uh, trying to understand this interdependency. So this interdependency actually is the Yakya system that is defined in Vedas. The scientist or the latest generation may use a different name, but it is very similar to this Yakya cycle, that you do work as a sacrifice or as yajna, and then the nature will supply and the demigods will supply to you whatever needed. And by these interdependent actions and results, everybody can be peaceful, and not only peaceful and happy, but you will increase your consciousness. You will slowly travel or progress towards the um, supreme lord. So this is a cycle which is advised for a person who are doing karma yoga, and those who cannot do karma yoga are defined here. They live life full of sins, so it is below karma yoga or karma kanda also, where you are attached to the results and you don't think of the god. But this place, it is still worst, because um, you don't know the cycle, you don't follow it, and you think of yourself only and your sense gratification. So this life is useless. So Krishna is very strongly addressing Arjuna that you have to follow. So you have to do sacrifice. So sacrifice, as we discussed in this Kali Yuga, is chanting the holy names. So we have to do our japa. We have to chant whatever possible, but we have to chant. And when we chant, we have to remember that this is the cycle that we are following, uh, which is, when we follow this cycle, we are leading a life, a virtual life, a good life, a pious life, where we are trying to follow the cycle established in the Vedas. So this yajna is, when we chant, is a supreme, but it's the most important activity of our life. Or one day also, that you chant something, you take the name of the god before eating, before sleeping, after wake up, wherever possible, take the name of the Lord. So we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We chant the Maha Mantra because it's the name of the Lord. So this is the important yajna that we all should try to do whatever possible. And then at least we are sure, as per Bhagavad Gita shlokas, that if we chant, if we do this yaga, we are at least progressing towards the spiritual realization, progressing towards self-realization. And that is what Krishna is advising Arjuna also. You do yajna, you do work, you do your duty, but you do yajna. So the next few shlokas, Krishna will explain what happens. Now he explained what happens if you don't follow this. Then he has to explain what happens if you follow this cycle. So that we will see from tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any points? Any feedbacks? Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Let's see what happens if we do the sacrifice. That means we chant. We do the yajna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.